Today, I'm going to do an example solve for every WCA event. This is going to be a pretty long video, so strap in and enjoy. First, I look for bars like this around the whole cube, so it looks like red is the only one. So I would just insert the last two red pieces to make the red face, so I could do that like this, to insert this one, and cancel into inserting this one, like this. Now I look on the top and just do the algorithm to make this top side orange. And finally, I do the algorithm to solve the rest of the cube. I am really only a white cross solver. I do yellow occasionally if it's like really easy and there's nothing on white. But again, I usually do white, so I can see that I have these two cross pieces solved, and then I just have to finish these two. So what I would do for this is just do the regular insert for this cross piece, and then move the cross over, insert this one, and move it back. Then I immediately saw this pair, so I would take out the corner and set up the 3-move insert. Then I would do this pair like this. So I'd pair them up and then take them out and then cancel the insert into the back. Then I would do this back pair. So I would take it out like this and then just do the regular case for this pair. So pair them up and then insert them into the back. And for the last pair, I would take this edge out and then rotate and set up the 3-move insert for this case. Now I recognize I have the kind of M or W shape and the block is on the left, so I do that OLL. And finally, we have a Y perm with a U2 AUF. I always make the white and yellow centers first because I am a white cross solver, so for Yao, I have to make my white cross edges. So I would look, I see that there is a white bar here and no bars on yellow. So I would hold the white bar at the bottom, and then to start, I would move it out of the way while also moving this piece, pairing them up, and then moving this and inserting it here. Then I'd probably do these two pieces, so I would pair them up like this and then insert them into the top, and then rotate and do these two pieces like this and then insert that into the top as well. Now for cross edges, I rotate like this so the white center is on the left, and first I notice this white red and this white red, so I would do this and then do a U move. So now they're on this kind of middle slice, pair them up and put them into the white face. Then I see this orange white and this orange white, so I'd put this here like this and then slice to solve them. And I know with the color scheme, orange goes opposite of red, so I'd put red opposite of orange and then put it in. And finally, I would rotate and we have this white green and this white green. So again, put it here, slice like this, and then I know that green goes before red in the color scheme, so it's already set up, so I would just put it here to finish off our first 3 cross edges. Then for centers, I always like to start off with the red center. It's a pretty bad habit of mine, but it's just something I do. So I notice I have the red bar here and these 2 red pieces here. So I would move this one over, slice up to solve these 2, and then move them back down to make the red center. Again, not disturbing any of the 3 cross edges. Then we have blue. I see we have 2 blue pieces here, so I'd kind of do this here and then this to pair them up, and then we got to restore the red center, and now they're paired up. I can't really see anything from this angle, so I would do this kind of triple layer move like this, and then remember that these 2 blue pieces are on the left, and we see that the other 2 blue pieces are actually also on the left. So what we can do is just something like this to pair them up and restore the red center. And now moving on to the last two centers, I know orange goes here and green goes here, so I would put the two orange bars on the right side, do something like this, and then restore it, and now we are done with centers. So then I would rotate back, and now I realize that I have this blue-white edge, and the other blue-white edge is here, so I would kind of slice over like this, and then insert this edge, so that when I slice back, it solves the edge. And then I just finish off the cross. Now moving on to 3-2-3 edge pairing, I slice over like this, and notice that this is yellow-green, so the other yellow-green edge is right here. So then I would insert it into this layer so that when I slice back, it is solved, but I'm not gonna slice back yet because we can do that for two more edges. So I would rotate, notice that this is red-blue, and find the other red-blue edge, but then I realized that it is here. So what I would actually do is pair this up and then insert a random unsolved edge and undo that slice. Now when we rotate again, we have this one which is red-yellow, and this is red-yellow, so I would insert that into this layer like here. And then finally we rotate and we have orange-green, but the other orange-green is connected to an edge that is going to be solved when we slice back, so we can actually just slice back already. Now this orange-green is actually already set up, and we can just do this like the last few edges. So I would notice that this is blue-orange, and I notice that this is blue-orange, so when I slice to solve this edge, I would insert the blue-orange like this, so when I slice back, it gets solved. And now we just have last two edges. We have yellow-orange and red-green, and yellow-orange and red-green. So I would insert the other edge so that the two edges are matching, slice, and then do the flipping algorithm, and slice back to solve all of the edges. And finally, we just solve it like a 3x3. We actually have PLO parity here. So PLO parity, what you can do is just the algorithm. And now we have an actual PLO case. Since I use Redux for 5x5, I am actually center neutral, so I can start with any center. I just pick whichever one looks the best. So for this, I would probably start with yellow, since I can make a center bar fairly easily, and then I have this other bar pre-made. So what I would do to start is move this bar out of the way, insert this edge, and then insert this edge to make the center bar, and then insert the pre-made bar like this to make the 2x2x3. And now I have this center, and this center. So I would pair these up, rotate like this, pair these up, and then insert it to make the yellow center. Now we rotate, and for white, I see I have this 2x1 and this 2x1, so I would pair them up like this. Next, I see I have this bar that I can just treat like a 2x1, so then I would insert it like this, and now I have the 2x3. And finally, we have the last three white centers here, here, and here. So I move the edge center like this, and then pair them up and insert the last bar to make first two centers. Then I rotate, and I would start with blue since it already has this kind of pattern here. So I do this to make the 2x2, and then I also have this 2x1 that I can pair up pretty easily to make the 2x3. Then we have centers here, here, and here. So I would probably move this like this and this like this. So then when I pair these two up and do a U2, when I go back, it pairs this up, and then we can just insert this into the center. Now for orange, we have kind of the same pattern here and also this. So I would insert this like this while also taking out this 2x1 and then pair up the 2x1 with the others. And finally, my last three centers are here, here, and here. So I would do this algorithmic kind of thing to pair them up and then insert them. And finally, for the last two centers, I would solve the green center and then the red center would just already be solved. So I would pair an edge up with the green center so it becomes a 2x1, and then pair other 2x1s with it. So this one probably like this, and then this one like this. And now I know this last three center case, so we have it here, here, and here. So I know I could pair these up and move this into the top, move this again, pair these up, and restore everything, and that solves the centers. Now for free slice edge pairing, I see first these two white greens and this white green, so I would move this over here, pair them up, and insert them into this layer. Next, I saw this yellow red and this yellow red, so I would flip one of them, pair them up, and again insert them into the top layer. Now I have this white blue and this white blue that I would pair up, and the last white blue is here, so I would pair that up with the other two and again insert it into the top layer. Then I have this white red and this white red that I could pair up like this, and then I don't see the other white red, so I would flip, and the other white red is right here. So then I would insert that, pair them up, and finish off the bottom layer. Now I have these red greens and this red green, so put this red green into the free slice layer, pair them up, and I also saw I had these yellow orange that got paired up when I did that, so I would insert an edge and then insert another edge, and now I have this yellow green, this yellow green, and this yellow green, so I can pair these two up like this and then pair the last one up and insert another edge. So now I have this edge case with yellow blue, where I can pair these two up, flip this one, and then pair this last one up and insert that, and now we have filled the top and bottom layers with solved edges. So for this, what I like to do is first we restore centers, and then I move the two edges in the back to the top layer, so I don't have to rotate it all during edges. So now I can just look at them like this. So I would probably do this white orange and this white orange first. So slice, insert an edge, and slice back. And then I would finish the edge with this and this. So insert this into the layer, slice, insert an unsolved edge, and slice back. And that also solves this. So then I would insert the last unsolved edge. So now I just have these two edges. And I know that we are going to have parity here because these three colors are the same and these aren't. So I would slice, do a flipping algorithm, and then do another one to solve the edges, but then we have the final edge with parity. So I would rotate like this and do the parity algorithm. And now we have solved all of our edges. And then again, we solve the rest like a 3x3. You can't get parities on 3x3 stage on even layered cubes. That's just how it is. You can only get edge parities. So we don't have to worry about any of that on 5x5 or 7x7. 6x6 is much the same as 5x5, just with more pieces and more parities because it's an even layered cube. 6x6, I usually start with white and yellow just because I know the color scheme very well from there. So first I see this yellow bar here, and I need to find an edge that would go here in inspection. So I would find this. To start, I would just move this here and pair it up to make this kind of inner yellow bar. Then I see I have these pieces here, and I know this kind of L pattern here can be turned into a bar of 3 just by slicing down, moving this over, and slicing back up. And finally, I would insert a corner into that bar and insert that into the yellow face. Next, I see these 2 yellow pieces, so I would find the other pieces that go with them, so that would be these 2. So I would move the inner one in first, and then the outer one, and then move that back up into the layer. Now to make the last bar, first I would pair up the corners here, move this down, and then do this to pair that up, and the last edge is actually in the yellow layer. So I would move it not into the yellow layer, pair it up, and then move the entire bar back. Now for white, we actually got lucky and we have a middle bar already solved, so we don't have to worry about that. Next, I would go to an outer bar because that looks easiest because I have these 2 pieces and these 2 corners. So I could just move this here, pair up the 2 corners, and insert it into the white layer. Then I have these 2 pieces and this piece, and I know this piece can go in there too. So I would do this to pair these 2 up, and then bring the other 2 up to solve the bar and insert that. Now we have the last bar with the pieces here, 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 and here. So I would do this to pair up these 2, that to pair up this one, and finally insert the last corner, insert it into the center, and now we have our first 2 centers. So then just like 5x5, I rotate this way, but unlike 5x5, now I, again, like 4x4 actually, I do red first. So I see this piece and these 2, move them down like this, and then this piece can be inserted like this to make the first middle bar. Then we have these 3 pieces here, so I could pair up this corner like this with them and insert that to create our first 2 bars. Now I would probably make the other outer bar because I see these 2 pieces, this one and this one. So I know I can pair up this one like that, and finally finish the last corner and insert it to make our first 3 bars. And now for the last bar, we got kind of a bad case with this one and these 2 here. So I would pair up these 3, and then this actually is solved in a lot of moves, so it's kind of bad, but I would take it out, move this, pair it back up, and insert it. For blue, I see we have this bar almost already made, so I'd probably finish it with this piece, move it here, so when we restore the red center, it already gets inserted into the blue center. Then I see these 3 pieces here and this corner, pair them up, and insert them next to this bar. So now I know all the other pieces that are in the top layer are on the right side. Then we have these 2 corners and these 2 edges, so move them like this, kind of do this double layer turn like this, move it down, undo that turn, and insert them. Now for the last bar, we have pieces here, 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 and here. So pair these up, move it like this, insert the last one, and restore everything to make our first 2 centers. Now for last 2 centers, I know orange goes here, so I'm going to start by solving orange. And I usually like to make a middle bar first and then do outer, middle, outer. It's kind of strange. So I see I already have this middle bar made. So I would do this to insert that into the top. And then I see I can pair up these 3 pieces with this corner like this, and then insert it into the top as well. Then we have these 3 and this one. So I would move this down, over, and back up to make this bar and insert it. And now for the last bar, we can actually do that double layer turn I was talking about. this, and then undo that double layer turn to pair up these 3 pieces, and then we would insert that into the top layer. So now we just have a commutator for 2 centers, which is solved like this. And the centers are done. Now edge pairing is much the same as on 5x5, just with more edges. So first I see yellow, green, this yellow, green as well, and then the last one is right here. And that solves these edges. And so again, insert them into the top. Orange, blue. Don't see any more orange, blue, but there is one right here. And then I don't see any more, so I would rotate. Final orange, blue is right here. Insert that. And then insert it into the bottom. Now we have yellow, orange, so I would pair these up, flip, and then undo that to pair these 3 up, and then the last one's right here. So insert, pair them, and then again insert them into this layer. Now we have green, orange, insert, pair, and the last one is right here, insert, pair, and we finish off the bottom layer, so now we don't have to look there anymore. Next, I would do red, blue, so I see I have 1 edge here, and 2 here, 1 here, so I would pair these 3 up, and then insert the last one to pair everything up. Then I would insert this edge to do white, green, so there was 1 here, or actually I'd probably do white, blue here, my mistake. I'd pair up these 3 white, blue, and then the last one's right here, insert, pair, and next I would do these, so this, and then there's an edge here and here, so I would pair up these 3, and then insert the last one, pair it up, and insert. This is getting pretty repetitive, so I'm not really going to explain it as much, but next we have yellow, red with edges here, 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 and here. So I would probably solve that like this. And finally insert it. Now we have, again, filled up the top and bottom with solved edges, so we undo all the slices and do the same thing we did for 5x5. So the 2 unsolved edges go into the top like this, and then we just have the 2 on the front and the 2 on the top. I would start with this red, green, and this red, green. So do that, and then I would make sure that since these 3 pieces are paired, and I know one of the outer edges is going to get broken when I slice back, I would actually do this one since neither of the outer edges are right. And when I slice back, now these pieces are intact. Then I would do white, green, and that leaves us with last 2 edges. So for last 2 edges, you can do some pretty interesting things. This doesn't actually look like a lot, but I don't think there's a parity case here. There might be, actually I think there is parity. But first I would flip this edge so I could pair these two red and whites, flip this edge and slice back to pair these 3. We actually do have edge parity here, so my mistake. Flip this one, slice, undo the flip, slice back, and now we've solved all the edges except for the parity one. So just like 5x5, we flip and then do the edge parity algorithm. And now for the however manyth time, we flip over and solve it like a 3x3. But we do have OLL parity here, so we do the OLL parity algorithm. Do OLL and we have PLL parity as well. So this is the 3 parities I was talking about that you could get on this cube. And finally we have a J-perm. So I was planning on doing a 7x7 solve, but then I realized it is literally the exact same thing as 5x5, just with more centers and more edges. Plus, mine is missing a center cap, and for some reason has Sharpie on it. So I knew that wouldn't look good for the video, so I'm just not going to do a 7x7 solve in this video. So with that, we move on to Skewb. I am color neutral on Skewb, so I just look for whichever side has the most amount of pieces kind of attached to it, and which one would be the easiest to attach more pieces, I guess is what I should say. So I see that yellow, this piece is solved, and I can attach this piece in one move like this, and then I can attach this piece here. And finally, this last one can go in like this, and that makes a layer. Now, if I was really good at Skewb, I could just do one algorithm to solve the rest of this, but I'm not. I use the most basic beginner method. So I see I have these 2 corners facing up, and this one's facing me. So I would do a sledge, rotate like this, and then do another sledge. And in this case, the white center actually became solved, but the next step usually would be to solve the white center. And finally, we have the last 4 centers, and this is a Z-perm. I don't know how to do a Z-perm, so I just do 2 U-perms. So I hold, if these 2 centers need to be flipped, I hold my thumb on the front center, do a U-perm, and now my hand is already in position to do the other U-perm. And now it's solved. Now moving on to Pyraminx. I have practiced a lot of Pyraminx recently, and it has become one of, if not my most favorite event. I think I'm willing to say that right now. But the first step is to make the 3 center pieces here kind of matching. So you need 3 of the centers to be matching. So we already have the 2 reds, and then we have this red that can go in like this. But we see when we do that, that actually breaks up this edge, which is already solved relative to its center. So instead of doing that, well, first I would solve the tips on the bottom layer, and then I would move this down, do this, and then move this back up. So now this edge remains solved. And then now we just need to switch these 2 edges. So I would just take one of them out, insert it, and then insert this other one like this, and then do one of the 5 algorithms for the last sort of layer cases. It's not really a layer, but that's what you call it. So I see that all the edges are solved, and then this center and tip need to rotate. So I see that it needs to rotate to the right. So I do the right-handed version of this algorithm, and it's done. Now for clock, this is either an event that you absolutely love or you absolutely hate. I am on the absolutely love side. I think this is probably one of the best events, even though a lot of people are trying to get it removed. You can see I've modded this clock. I've done the Anders mod to it, and then I've also switched the kind of rings for the non-12 o'clock numbers. So now they kind of blend in, and I just feel like it looks better. I also made some custom inserts that I don't have in right now. But as you can see, I'm also a big hockey fan, so that was kind of a way for me to combine 2 of my interests. But anyways, so what I look for is either 2 of these sort of edge clocks matching or an edge and a center clock matching. There's usually only one, but in this case we have both. So I have to pick which one I think would be better. But I am just gonna take this one because this one means I don't have to do any D-dial moves, and that's always better. So what I would do is first, with just this pin up, I would match these 2 to this one, and then I would switch to this pin, match these 3 with this one, and then put the pin that we originally had up again, match these 4 to this one, and put this pin up and orient them all to 12 o'clock. Then we flip, and we can see that the first pin in our order is this pin, and it's already up. That's why we did the last move with these 3 pins. So we can immediately go to matching this to this, and then we match the center to these 2 with this pin up. So now we have these 3 matching again. And then the same thing we just did. This pin up, match these 3 to this one. And these 2 pins up, match these 4 to the bottom. And before we orient back to 12, we need to solve corners. So my corner pin orientation is first just this pin down, and using this dial, I match the cross to this corner. Then I switch pins, match these 6 now to this corner. Switch pins again, match these 7 to this corner. Switch pins for the last time, match the rest of them to this corner, and then all pins up, orient to 12. And it's done. So square one, I actually just recently relearned how to solve a square one because I used to know how, but I forgot. So now I am stuck averaging like 50 something seconds, which is absolutely horrible. But I mean, I also haven't put enough effort in it to like actually get good again. So first for cube shape, I would just try to match all of these edges. So my first move would be to match as many of them as possible. So I'd see I have this block of 3 here. So I'd move that and this here. So when I do my first slice, it matches up these 5. And then I have this L, and then these 4 kind of thing. So I'd orient the bottom so that the L is like this. Sorry, I was actually just remembering what I do for this case, but I orient the bottom so it's like this, and the top so it's like this, slice up, and then move this over and slice like this. So now I have these 6 edges and again this L shape on the bottom. So then I hold in this orientation, so I slice here, back, and then up. So then I have like this kind of thing and these 4 edges and these 2. So I orient these 2 like this, up and back, and now I have all 8 edges oriented. So next what I do is I move it so it is like this. So when I split down the middle, the 2 like halves of edges get split. So I split like this, and then this is what in square one is called scallop for cube shape. And to solve it, you orient them so they're both like this, slice, move this one, -1, -2, slice, and then we just have kite. So you orient them like this and slice to get cube shape. Then for corners, I do black top. So I see I have these 2 corners here and these 2 corners here. So this can actually be solved intuitively with just 1 slice to solve all of the corners. And next we move on to edge orientation. So I have 1 edge and 1 edge. So I orient them like this and then do the algorithm, which goes 0, -1, -3, 0, 4, 1, -4, -1, 3, and 1. And now edge orientation is solved. And now for corner permutation, I see that I have these 2 corners solved relative to each other, these 2 aren't, and these 2 corners are solved relatively to each other, and these 2 aren't. So now I hold the 2 corner pairs that are solved relative to each other in the back, and I do slice, -3, 0, slice, 3, 3, slice, 0, -3, slice. And now all of the corners are solved. And now I know I don't have parity here because I have a parity looking case on the top and a parity looking case on the bottom. So that actually means you don't have parity. So to solve the rest of the edges, I just do 1 algorithm from different positions. The algorithm I do swaps these 2 edges with each other and these 2 edges with each other. So what I would do for this one is I see that if I do the algorithm, this red will go here. And the algorithm is 1, 0, 0, 3, -1, -1, 1, -2. And so now we can see that these two edges swapped and these two edges swapped. And now we just have a U-perm on the bottom. So what I do for that is I make it so that this green will solve, and then I just have an adjacent swap here, and I do the algorithm again. And so now we finally have this last adjacent swap with these two and these two. So we do the algorithm one more time and orient the bottom layer, and our squan is solved. Lastly, we have Megaminx. Wait, it's Megaminx. The video's getting too long anyways, whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Actually, wait, let's just slide these two out of here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment below what your favorite WCA event is. Maybe if it's one I didn't cover here, like 7x7 Mega or any sort of blindfolded or FMC type of thing. I might make a video about it at some point. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.